Hey there, guys. I suppose it's another typical Friday that I spent at my grandma's house here in China. So I have been constantly, you know, I have been constantly got assaulted and haunted by loneliness and loneliness, confusion, and disorientation. Yes, and I have I have watched the video on YouTube made by Coach Red Pill, titled as "Make Friends with Loneliness." I don't particularly I don't particularly see anything useful from the video made by Red Coach Red Pill regarding how to overcome, or not how to overcome, but how exactly to make friends with loneliness. Pretty much the entire video simply explain to you why we can't defeat or overcome loneliness completely, but instead we, it simply outlined several reasons why we just need to make friends with loneliness. It outlined, yes, it illustrated several examples based on the author's own experiences combating or trying to combat against loneliness. And I suppose loneliness, it doesn't solely occur, to one single location. It doesn't quite occur solely in or at a single location or a country, but instead, no matter where you go, no matter what you choose to do to make a living, loneliness or the feeling of emptiness always follows us to wherever we go, no matter what we do for a living, and no matter what we do for entertainment, for leisure, for love, etc. So it's but according to my own experiences I have had in Sydney, Australia, I also constantly experienced and I also constantly experienced and struggled with loneliness. Even if despite Sydney, harbors the most populous community groups, church groups, such as Hillsong Church, and despite the University of Sydney harbors, the most populous communities of international students. Whether you have, basically whether you experience, a large group of people's, atmosphere or social network, no matter how large or how widespread your social network grows, it is, the inevitability of loneliness always perpetuates. It always occurs to you, and well, but I do have, in fact, some some methods to at least temporarily block or mitigate loneliness. So first of all, I suppose is that you must find what you are meant to do, what you are meant to accomplish in this decaying and rotten world. Thanks, thanks to the ever increasing entropy in this universe. You know, basically everyone around you is trying to pull you down, is trying to make you feel more upset and hopeless about your own life. And no matter the fact, or regardless of the fact whether they did it unconsciously or consciously, deliberately or unintentionally. It's just a matter of fact that people will always try to mitigate or minimize their feelings of insecurities, instabilities, or feelings of jealousy. They tend to minimize that sort of negative reinforcement by trying to even by trying to even other people's sparkles, achievements. They well due to my highly limited expertise and knowledge in psychology, I don't know what or I don't know which psychological terminology I should have used to explain such concept to you guys here. But in short, I suppose it is a very, very common phenomena that we cannot invest all of our hopes of ever entirely or completely neutralizing the feeling of loneliness onto people around us. We need to grow, or at least we need to learn how to grow more superior than the people around us. Because whoever you become whomever you choose to stay with. So it's I can't actually recall where I learned this motto or this quote, but it all seems pretty obvious. It all seems to play out. It all seems to make sense at this point, that we cannot solely depend, we cannot solely depend on other people to neutralize loneliness. We must at least have some sort of commitment, dedications, devotions to something in particular. Especially some sort of task, some sort of project, some sort of undertaking that renders our lives more meaningful, more fruitful, and more fulfilling. So yeah, so in short, and to summarize, we all need to know what we what exactly we are meant to do. You know, we all need to know, you know, what what purpose, what mission God has assigned us to accomplish. Um, well, it it never though it never appears that evident or obvious to us. Um, we do have a mission, in fact, we do have a purpose, a meaning for this life. It is just never clear, even according to the book of Ecclesiastes. To the book of Ecclesiastes, the Bible, it never actually said that life is completely meaningless. It merely mentioned the the futility of pleasure, the futility of earthly pleasure, the futility of you know all the physical beings, physical enjoyment we tend to get ourselves obsessed with. But the fact is that no matter how much of physical pleasure we pursue, it never fully manages to satisfy us completely. So yeah, I don't know. Well, it's just a grim fact. Yes, perhaps I should change a bit of the subject. I'd also like to talk about you know how to learn from large companies, how to learn from multinational corporations in order to boost your own capacity and capability in your entrepreneurial undertakings. So, first of all, I'd like to point out that perhaps the most efficient method, the most productive, or one of the most interesting approach to gather and salvage techniques, skills from large companies is to first of all examine their products, their services they tend to deliver in order to make a profit as closely as you can, as closely as you know how. So, for example, you see for a Nikon digital camera, I have on my hand. So, what do you think that's made Nikon so successful? Why do you think people always tend to flock together and towards Nikon just to buy a decent, a highly functional and a decent digital camera? So why do you think people tend to buy a product such as Nikon? We need to see, we need to try to figure out how they made such high quality product or services possible and deliverable to their end users and customers. And yes, so we can also try we can also try to try to analyze, try to reverse engineer their entire production process and workflow. We can try to imagine how they make each and every step of the production of the product design and development and delivery that efficient. How exactly, they can control the cost, but in the meantime also ensuring the decent quality of their products or services. So, and always ask yourselves questions like this: how they manage their HR affairs, like how they implement a system that can can work in a way that they don't waste any time or money or human resources while recruiting new skilled employees, and while developing and designing and delivering new products and services. So yes, so the key idea here, I suppose it has to be process reverse engineering. That that's the I managed to reach such conclusion during my countless of sleepless nights. During those sleepless nights of mine, I've been constantly trying to imagine how they made each and every step possible and efficient. How exactly they can profit and they can benefit from each and every incrementally, infinitesimally small steps and process. Especially business process, engineering process, selling process. So it's please allow me to check my Facebook just to pick up some of the ideas that I might have overlooked. It should be here, I suppose. Just several days ago, I was trying. I came out with several ideas that might help my business make some significant breakthroughs in order to grow, in order to hire more, highly skilled people, to get the job done better, faster, and more decently. So let's see, what do I have here? Okay, what have we here? Sorry about my poor VPN connection. Let's see. What do we have here? Oh, come on. Oh yes, one of the ideas I have come up with should be the recruitment process automation. So how exactly do we, or how exactly can we automate recruitment processes, screening processes, interviewing processes for each and every possible or feasible employees. It should be right here, I suppose. Oh, Jesus, just it's taking so long. Okay, HR control mechanisms tree, workflow allocation servers, recruitment and interview automations. This shit may just pack a punch. And what else? Yes, I've also planned, to amplify the reach of one of the projects I was about to undertake, which was, perhaps you guys have already well known, is the Gumtree Marketing Specialist project. Well, in order to learn more about such undertaking such project, you need to check out my previous videos on YouTube. So regardless, thank you for watching and listening. Perhaps yes, sometimes we must render our considerations specific, and yet sometimes we need them general. Go figure. It really depends on the circumstances. Such methodology can largely and greatly and vastly vary according to different circumstances. But anyway, thank you again for watching and listening. You guys enjoy your weekend, and stay tuned, stay blessed, stay faithful. I shall see you on the next video on YouTube. Bye bye. Cheers.